Hello and welcome to week 2 of the Writing from Life Winter Writing Challenge. So of course the main question is, how did you get on with the projects for last week? How did you go writing an outline of your life? Was it what you expected? Was there more to it? Did you get distracted? I certainly found it quite interesting. I mean, I know I'd said could be, somewhere between 2 to 4 pages or more. Well, I scraped in just at 3, and that was pretty brief. There were some big gaps in there. But plus, of course, I was tempted at some particular points to go into great detail, which of course was the one thing I'd said, don't do. No emotions, no descriptions, no stories, just an outline. Which I'm pleased to say I did manage. I didn't do it in one complete session. In fact, I ended up writing a page at a time because by the time I'd got through one section of my life, my brain was tired. So I left it and then came back to it the next day, which seemed to work quite well. And yet my life is quite brief. So I would wonder how people who had more information to put into their outline managed. I know I was talking to some people and they were going, "You managed to get to 3 pages. I don't think my life would get past half a page. Born here, lived here, schooled here, married here, did this for a job, did that for a job, had children, travelled here." And that was it. So obviously, like I said, different people, different outlines. But I think also the fact is that being a writer, we tend to look into more detail. The one thing that I did get from doing the outline, though, which was a nice surprise, was that it brought up more memories. I thought I had a good outline or a good idea of what had happened in the early part of my life. But it was nice to see that just writing down an outline brought up more memories and brought more things to the surface, which of course immediately got written in my notebook that of course I've suggested everybody has. It's not full, as you might have guessed, that's quite a large notebook, but it does have a handful of memories, anecdotes, things to think about from my life, which is the whole point of it. So I suppose that brings me on to the next question. How are you getting on with jotting down memories in your notebook? There were a couple of thoughts that came to me whilst I was doing that. And first was, of course, the standard thing. Every time I have a new journal, it's writing the first thing. The first time that pen touches the page, the first time there is ink on a page, I get so nervous about writing something in a book. Because what if I spell it wrong? What if I write the wrong thing? What if I don't like what I've written? What if I've written it on the wrong page? I don't know. Are you the same when it comes to writing something new in a journal? It's like, if I'd written in pencil, of course, I could rub it out. Erasers, wonderful job in that case. But I like writing in pen in a journal for a variety of reasons. The contrast on the page is nice, it lasts longer, and perhaps also the fact that I can't erase it from the page. But it's still quite challenging for me, even after all these years, to write on the first page, because there's no way I am going to rip a page out of my brand new journal if I get it wrong. I have no idea why this is. Is it a fear of making a mistake and crossing out the line? Is it a fear of my writing looking scruffy? Is it that I'll write the wrong thing? Is it, which is probably more to the case, that I'm wasting a perfectly good journal by writing something in it that's not going to finish the book? Which sounds a bit silly, really. I mean, if I was using an expensive journal, then it might be the case. But when the journal comes from the $2 store or something and I buy it because I like the look of it, there's no logic in it. Anyway, off track. Anyway, that was just my thoughts on the notebook. I'd love to know how you're going at writing down your memories and your anecdotes from your life. The first one, just in case you're interested, that I actually put in the book, is that often when we went for a walk as children with my mum, at some point during that day, Mum would say, "Nothing like the fresh smell of good country air." And the only reason she said it was because we were passing a smelly cow's field. And so now every time I think of cows, every time when we are here house sitting in Tasmania, we walk past a pasture of cows, I'm thinking, that's the smell of good fresh country air. Yes, that's definitely a memory I'll have to pass on to my children. Anyway, beside the point, how else did you go with your projects for the week? Did you choose to use the weekly writing prompt that came out on Tuesday? Or did you find that you had enough fun filling in the outline of your life? Or maybe one of the memories that came to you whilst writing your outline or filling in stories in your notebook gave you something to write about. If you did use the writing prompt, let me know. I'll be interested to see how you got on with it. So what's the project for this week, for week 3? Well, basically, I'd like to suggest that you check out the video that I've put up called Organising Your Written Memories. What it is a video that shows you how to sort your stories so that each time you've written a story about your life, a memory, you can put it in an organised system so you can stop writing anytime you want, because your project could be complete. It's up to you if you want to keep writing stories, of course, which, needless to say, is the idea of the challenge. But if you find yourself having to stop at any time, it's sorted. It's all chronological and ready to be read. You might have a dozen stories in there. You might have, 80 stories in there, 90 stories in there. Could be somewhere in between. Doesn't really matter. The point is, by organising now, your stories are in order. So regardless of when you choose to finish, it's sorted. It also means that you can write your stories. You put them in and sort them, and then you can leave them for the future generation. You can leave them and come back to them in 10 years' time. It means that if anybody comes up to you and says, "Hey, can I read those stories you wrote?" you can go, "Yes, here you are." Of course, it might not be "here you are," because if they're not printed and they're on file, you can forward them the document, the folder that you've put them all in. And they're all ready to go. You don't have to do any fiddling around. So that is the project for this week. Watch the video that I've put up on organising your written memories and set your computer up ready to go, or your journals, or however you're choosing to write them. Not a big task, but it's an important one. And then the writing project for this week is to watch the weekly writing prompt on this channel that comes out at 10 a.m. Tassie time. Tuesday, 10 a.m. Tassie time. How difficult is that? But if you've already subscribed, YouTube will be kind enough to remind you when the writing prompt is posted. But of course, if you can't wait for that prompt to be posted on Tuesday and you want to write this weekend, well then I would recommend you still have a look at the weekly writing prompts, because there are a few there to pick from. And all the prompts are written to inspire memories and stories from your life. And of course, if you do have any questions, comments, please put them in the comment section. Or if you'd like an answer on a thought you have or a question, please post it on Elizabeth's writing page on Facebook. So there you go. Have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you next Friday. Bye.